Let me ask you a simple question. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning. India looks exactly the same. The roads are the same. The people are the same. The parliament is still standing. The Supreme Court building is still there. The Prime Minister is still in office. Everything appears perfectly normal. But one thing has suddenly disappeared: the Constitution of India. Now think about what happens next. Who decides the powers of the Prime Minister? Can elections still be conducted? Can the police arrest any citizen without giving a reason? Can the government take away your property whenever it wants? Can the Supreme Court stop the government if it violates your rights? Will the states continue to have the same powers? Will fundamental rights still exist? If there are no definite answers to these questions, can India still function as a democracy? The answer is no. And that is exactly why every successful nation needs a constitution. In today's video, we are going to understand what a constitution really is, why every nation needs one, and why it is known as the supreme law of the land. By the end of this video, you will no longer look at the constitution as just another chapter in polity. You'll understand why it is the very foundation of democracy. Hello and welcome. I am Rahul Tajnekar, your own UPSC mentor and coach, director of Rahul Sir's IAS Academy Nagpur, and author of the book Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude, an ultimate guide to score 160 plus marks. Let's begin. In the previous episode, we understood why India needed a constitution after independence. If you haven't watched that episode yet, I strongly recommend watching it after this video because today's discussion builds directly upon it. Now let's answer the most fundamental question. What exactly is a constitution? Instead of starting with a textbook definition, let me tell you a simple story. Imagine two brothers inherit a piece of agricultural land from their father. The land belongs to both of them, but nothing has been written down. There are no rules about who will cultivate which portion, no agreement on how the harvest will be shared, no process for resolving disputes. During the first year, everything goes smoothly, but in the second year, the elder brother cultivates a larger portion of the land. The younger brother objects. An argument begins. Neighbors gather. Everyone has an opinion, but nobody has the authority to settle the dispute. Why? Because there are no agreed rules. Finally, both brothers sit together and prepare a written agreement. Who will cultivate which portion? How the produce will be divided? Who will settle disputes if they arise in the future? From that day onwards, the conflicts almost disappear. What changed? The people remained the same. The land remained the same. Only one thing changed. Clear rules replaced uncertainty. If a family needs rules to function peacefully, imagine how much more important rules become for a nation of more than 1.4 billion people. Let's take another example. Imagine an entire village depends on a single well for drinking water. During summer, water becomes scarce. The strongest people arrive first and take as much water as they want. The weaker families are left waiting. Not because they have fewer rights, but because there are no rules. One day, the villagers come together and create a simple system. Each family will collect water during a fixed time. If any dispute arises, the village council will make the final decision. Now, strength no longer decides who gets water. The rules do. That is exactly why societies create laws and nations create constitutions. Now, imagine a kingdom where the ruler has unlimited powers. He can make any law, punish anyone, confiscate anyone's property, imprison anyone, and nobody can question him. At first, the ruler may be wise and fair, but the real question is not whether today's ruler is good. The real question is, what if tomorrow's ruler is not? Who will stop him? That is why wise nations do not merely create governments. They also create limits on governments. Those limits are written in one document. That document is called the Constitution. Before we move ahead, if you are preparing seriously for UPSC and would like structured guidance, you can learn more about our online and offline batches. Simply call us or WhatsApp START on the number displayed on your screen. My team will help you choose the right program based on your current stage of preparation. Now let's continue. So far, we've understood why every society needs rules. But here's the next important question. How is a constitution different from every other law? Once you understand this distinction, you'll understand why the constitution occupies the highest position in every democratic country. An ordinary law tells us what we should do and what we should not do. For example, traffic laws, tax laws, criminal laws, environmental laws. These are all ordinary laws. But the Constitution goes one step further. It answers much bigger questions. Who has the power to make laws? What are the limits of the government's authority? What rights belong to the citizens? And perhaps most importantly, if the government itself violates the rules, who can stop it? In other words, ordinary laws regulate the citizens. The constitution regulates the government. That is precisely why the constitution is regarded as the supreme law of the land. Every law passed by parliament or a state legislature must remain within the boundaries of the constitution. If any law violates the constitution, the courts have the power to declare that law unconstitutional. This means that no institution, no government, no political party, and no individual is above the constitution. History repeatedly teaches us one important lesson. Whenever a ruler desires unlimited power, one of the first things they try to weaken is the constitution. Why? Because the constitution is the wall that stands between governmental power and individual liberty. As long as that wall remains strong, citizens remain free. But the moment that wall begins to weaken, freedom slowly starts disappearing. That is why understanding the constitution is not merely important for clearing the UPSC examination. It is essential for preserving democracy itself. Always remember one simple principle. When rules disappear, power begins to speak. Now let me ask you another interesting question. Many people say India is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Then why did such an ancient civilization need a modern constitution? The answer is actually quite simple. Ancient India consisted of many kingdoms, different traditions, different systems of governance, different customs. But the India that emerged in 1947 was completely different. It was one sovereign democratic nation. A nation where people speaking different languages, following different religions, belonging to different communities, living in different regions would all become equal citizens under one republic. Such an enormous and diverse country needed one common framework, one common vision, one common set of rules, one document that every citizen could proudly call their own. That document became the Constitution of India. Now think about your everyday life. When you stop at a red traffic signal, you don't stop because another driver tells you to stop. You stop because everyone accepts the same rule. That shared rule prevents chaos. Now think about a cricket match. Neither team creates its own rules. Both teams agree to play according to the same rule book. The umpire's decision is accepted because every player has already accepted those rules before the match begins. A constitution performs exactly the same function for an entire nation. It tells us how the game of democracy will be played, who will make the rules, who will interpret those rules, and what happens when someone breaks them. Before we conclude, let me share something important. If you're confused about your UPSC preparation, if you're unsure about answer writing, your optional subject, revision strategy, test series, or your overall preparation roadmap, you can book a UPSC strategy session with me. During this one-on-one session, we'll analyze your preparation, identify your strengths and weak areas, and create a practical strategy to maximize your chances of success. You'll find the booking link in the description below. Now let's conclude today's discussion. The Constitution does not protect only the citizens, it also protects the government. It clearly defines the powers of every institution. It protects the rights of every citizen, and it creates a balance between authority and liberty. So now we can confidently answer today's question. Can a country function without a constitution? Perhaps. For a short period. Perhaps. Through fear and force, but never through justice, never through equality, and never through stable democracy. A nation without a constitution is like a game without rules. Eventually, power replaces fairness, and the strongest begin to decide everything. The framers of our constitution understood this reality better than anyone else. That is why they created a document that protects every citizen equally, whether rich or poor, powerful or ordinary, majority or minority. Always remember this. The greatest strength of a nation is not its military alone. The military protects the nation's borders. The Constitution protects the freedom of its people. In the next episode, we'll explore another fascinating question. Why does India have the world's longest written constitution? Was such a lengthy constitution really necessary? Or could India have managed with a much shorter constitution? We'll answer all these questions in the next episode. Until then, download our app using the link in the description to access free daily current affairs, quizzes, PDF notes, and other valuable study resources. Also, don't forget to watch my previous video on why did India need a constitution. I am Rahul Tajnikar. See you in the next one.